There are certain parts that are made to work against the person. These parts I call cult altars. These are the parts that contain more of the sin nature and are willing to advance the purposes of the cult. They are given names and assigned certain duties to perform for the cult. Many of these duties involve making life totally miserable for their host person. These duties can be anything an evil imagination can devise, but here are just a few by way of example. Now all of these are ways to make a person's soul work against the person, and they don't even know it's happening. If she enjoys anything, make sure she's punished for it by making her vomit. If anyone compliments her, be sure to tell her how ugly and stupid and selfish she is. So these are inner parts of the person that make it impossible for this person to receive any kind of praise. If she starts talking about her abuse, don't let her drink water anymore. If she starts talking about her abuse, make sure her bowels never move again. Now these are situations I've actually encountered in ministry to these persons. Be sure you keep her awake at night and never let her rest. Now this altar may be given via magic surgery, several alarm clocks set to go off hourly all night long. It is this part's job to activate them. Demons actually sound the alarm to awaken her. Another cult altar may keep her obese by making sure she overeats and craves sweets. Another job could be never stop reminding her she is a failure in life and will never succeed at anything. Another one may say, make sure she suffers with headaches continually. These altars will be given objects via magic surgery, such as ropes to wrap tightly around her head, hammers for hitting her head, and things such as this. This reminds me of an old television commercial for headache pain medicine. Must have been back in the 50s or 60s, long time ago. Make voodoo dolls and stick pins in them to keep her in physical torment. This all takes place in the inner world of the imagination, but it actually affects the physical body. These parts assigned these tasks have the power to fulfill them because demons are working with them. It is a way of making a person agree with the demons, thereby giving them permission to torment the person. Satanists will choose a particular child to be the chosen child to abuse for several reasons. It could be her dissociative ability, the availability of the child to them, the child's intelligence, also beauty. But the one factor that's most important is that she has the ability to dissociate. I'm using the female gender here, but they also do this with little boys. Various people have differing abilities to dissociate. The more quickly a child can split, and the more thoroughly she can forget her abuse, the more valuable she will be to the cult. They want a child who can form more altars, because the person with the most parts will also have the most demons, and more demons mean more power. The child is unaware that she has powers, and any powers she has are used against her and accessed by her perpetrators for their own desires. When a child has an exceedingly high ability to dissociate, the news travels out to other satanic cults throughout the country. Word of this eventually reaches those highest up in the cult hierarchy, who will come to visit the child to see just how powerful she is. If she is highly gifted in her dissociative ability, she will be chosen for specialized programming by professional programmers, psychologists, and evil geniuses who know just how to fine-tune and enhance her abilities for use by those higher up in the cult. No expense is spared in their preparations of this child for power. She will be flown to places all over the United States and even to foreign countries for their specific purposes. Now I'm going to give an explanation of how cults form dissociative parts that work against the person in which they live. In satanic ritual abuse, where victims are forced to endure horrendous trials of terror, pain, and suffering, there are no good choices allowed. The only decisions they can make are evil ones forced on them through torture and manipulation. The only way to survive is to divide off from their main stream of consciousness and somehow leave the abuse behind for another part of the personality to endure. Through this process, demons, in cooperation with cult members, separate the good characteristics from the carnal nature, but the good characteristics are not transferred to the spirit. They remain in the soul in the form of alternate personalities, or parts. They are locked away in the inner world, in dungeons, prisons, or even baby nurseries created by the cult through mind-controlled programming, where demons keep watch over them and torment them. The bad or carnal characteristics, rather than being burned up, as the Lord would do when He is working with us through sanctification, the evil carnal characteristics remain in the form of cult altars, whose evil characteristics are honed and trained by the cult for their wicked purposes. Satanic ritual abuse survivors, consequently, are divided in their soul over and over again to the point they are not allowed to form their own identity. Having no healthy concept of who they are, they become slaves to the demons and cult members and are unable to break away even though they may live apart from their perpetrators as adults. The dividing the soul into separate altars, combined with the presence of demons called into them during rituals and psychological programming, keeps them under the cult's control even from a distance. The carnal parts of them, in the form of cult altars, can take control of them when cued by the demons and take them out to rituals or perform assigned tasks without the good parts of them knowing anything took place. Here we see something created by God to be good. The process of severing the carnal nature from the soul and transferring the good characteristics over to the spirit has been twisted and perverted by the devil and his demons, so that what was designed by God to deliver us and bring us into new freedom in Him is used by demons to imprison the soul in an internal hell. As Christians, we are called to lay our self-life on the internal altar, a living sacrifice unto God, as we say, "Not my will, but thy will be done." In this way, God can bless us and transform us into His image. In satanic ritual abuse, the persons become living sacrifices unto Satan and are kept in constant torment, with few opportunities of freely using their own will. The freedom to choose is totally violated in the rituals, as their decisions are forced through torture, so that their will is not able to develop normally. As a result, many people so abused are stubborn and controlling later in life. As stated earlier, they are placed in situations where evil is their only choice. The evil forced upon them is so great, they have to divide into several personalities before one consisting of mainly sin nature comes forth that is able to do the evil forced upon them. Their free will is further violated by the fact they are forced to make vows to serve Satan and do certain jobs assigned to them by the cult. These vows place them under vitiating curses that greatly diminish their quality of life and hinder their advancement in all areas of endeavor. These vows are made by altars under torture, who are then locked away, inaccessible to the survivor, so she is totally unaware these vows were made, yet she is bound by them, because demons are stationed with the altars to enforce the vows. The following are a few examples of vows. The vow to never cry prevents the release of painful emotions. A vow to never succeed in life will cause one to behave in ways to ensure failure. A vow to never love again will block meaningful relationships. A vow to commit suicide if she ever talks about the cult will endanger her life. A vow to never let anyone touch her makes human contact uncomfortable. A vow to be subservient and submissive to the cult hinders her ability to defend herself. Sometimes vows are behind physical problems. One woman started complaining that she felt like she was burning up. She looked flushed and her skin felt hot to my touch. Later in the course of her memory it was revealed she had made a vow that if she ever talked, she would allow herself to be burned to death. Cult programming of vows is usually reinforced by some kind of visual reinforcement. For example, one child remembered being punished for not cooperating with the cult members who were raping her. She was forced to make a vow that she would never fight them again, and then they slashed the throat of her pet rabbit as she held it in her arms. Reinforcing vows with brutality creates tremendous fear, thereby increasing the cult's control over their victim. Vows are often layered, in that one particular vow may have been made many times by several different parts. In that way, the cult ensures their victim will not be released from her vow, should a counselor happen to find one of the altars and break a particular vow, because several others will have made the same vow. Vows are reinforced by demons. During ministry, once a vow is uncovered, the survivor is sometimes unable to say the words necessary to break the vow until the demon guarding the vow is cast out. Once that demon has been cast out and the vow renounced, a few other demons connected to it may have to be removed. But in Jesus, they can always be delivered of these vows. They can be broken and the demons cast out and persons can be set free. And Jesus will reveal to them what the vows are that they made. If you have found this video to be interesting and informative, I have many more videos and articles at my website, www.hispresenceonline.org. I'm Patricia Clark.